Hi, I'm Bari Goldin with Aura Salon and Day Spa in Scottsdale, Arizona. And as you see, my model has some awesome curly hair. Today I'm going to show how I can add some fringe and really open up her face and show off her eyes and take the weight that's happening with some disconnected elevation and really lift that up. She already has a little bit of a fringe, as you can see, but it's not doing much for her. Taking a little bit shorter and adding a little bit more on the side, bringing it over, I think is gonna really show off her great cheekbones that she has. She has some great facial structures and eyes, and I really want to enhance that. With her hair, beautiful curls, really thick, and so I just really wanna go in there and lift this up in the back. Give her some disconnected elevation so she has a little bit more pop. She's always feeling like she's weighted down, and I just want to pop her back up. Okay, let's do this. Show you what it's about. So, I'm just going to clip out my section. I want to have them where I'm showing and paying really particular on adding the right amount of hair into the section and bringing it so that I'm watching her curl patterns as well. Just kind of find my placement of where that's at and clip the rest of it away out of the area so it doesn't get in my way. Because she has curly hair, I want to show you how I'm not necessarily worrying about an exact section because the curl might fall with one area and not be so exact straight. So I'm watching the texture and going with that. I'm going to do it in a couple sections. I'm going to do my bottom section first. One thing I really want to make sure that you see is how I am going to be holding my fingers and placing them, really exaggerating that angle, and make sure that I'm following that the whole time. I will start off a little bit lower and gradually work a little higher holding the hair section, but my finger position is always going to be at that angle so that I can keep a continuous flow. Just going to grab myself one more clip to have. So when I begin, I'm looking at really just starting through her eyebrow and really softening that up. Keeping my fingers at that angle. Could already see where those curls are want to be. I'm going to go in. Keep my finger at that same, just take that off. Coming through to my next section. Again, really making sure that my finger placement is where it's at. And taking that piece off. I'm gonna do about three total, so I'm gonna go into my next one. Always paying attention, letting the hair fall natural and showing so you can see where the curl is laying. Just want to go in there. Reason that I'm doing it dry is we have curly hair. We wear our hair dry, we don't wear it wet. And what happens when curly hair is wet, we got a lot of spring factor action going on. So we don't want to have any type at all of, sorry about that, any type of bend or shrinkage happening that we don't want. We don't want to accidentally take too much off. So when it's dry, we can really see where everything is laying. I love how that's popping in there already. So one big thing that I want to make sure of is when I add this last section in there, I want it to really still have some curl. I don't want it to be totally straight. I still want it to have some bend. So I want to make sure this top part is really coming together. Letting that lay, I'm going to really make sure I'm cutting this where that's at. Holding it, my finger placement taking that up. Coming through, giving it a little bit of lift and elevation into that fringe section for her. One thing I'm definitely noticing right now that's happening is this side is still needing a lot of weight out. So I want to go in and I want to take a little bit more. Probably shouldn't have went that way. You guys lost me there for a minute. Sorry about that. I want to make sure you could see. This is where I really want this to brighten her up and give her a little bit more pop in there. So I'm going to come through and just add that in. Again, just paying attention to my tension. With curly hair, I never want to hold it too taut because that spring factor, we run into that when it's wet, cutting it, we don't know that full curl pattern, what might happen, how it might wind up drying. But when we hold it even dry with too much tension and we're pulling on that, we're changing that bond of where that hair is at. So I'm just going to come through and just remove a little bit more of that weight that's in there by just over directing it and holding at different angles to help take some of that out. Afterwards, I'm going to go in and do some disconnection to her back elevation there. And again, doing it dry so I can see where the hair lives. I want to really follow the head shape and make sure that I'm really cutting the hair from where it's at, where it's growing out from the head, and following that. I think these are awesome. I love how that's just lifting her up already. Just take this hair off her face a little bit for her so she can see. Not like it matters, but still. Who wants to sit with hair on their face? So now I want to show you the back. I want to go in and really give a little extra pop in there, lift this up, and bring some height into there. Just going to take a small little section right about here. I'm going to turn her around so I can cut that, but I want you guys to be able to see a little bit. I'm going to put her to the side here. Coming up and taking all of that straight off. Just coming through. You can see how I'm really holding that hair loose. I'm not holding it too tight. I'm just taking off some hair right in that area of that crown where it's just needing some lift. Just going to do a little bit more. One thing that I am going to do on this next section is my finger position. I want it to really be some short to long, so I'm really going to make sure that I go in there with my placement. And that finger is really pointing down. So when I cut that, it's short to long and really gives me some great pop. One thing that we're always feeling is that she never has enough fun going on this area. So I'm gonna give that to her today for sure. I love what that's doing already. Just doing a little bit more in there. Love curly hair. It's like one of my favorite things that has to do with hair. I love texture, I love movement. Just love cutting this curls and talking with them and just treating them very fragilely. That's even a word. I'm gonna come into the side and then take a little bit more of that off. I'm gonna walk over, come through, do this side a little bit more. Afterwards, I'm gonna diffuse her with a little bit of a technique to help bring these curls back into shape. So just gotta make sure I grab my diffuser, so I have that. Oh, sorry, Min. One thing you definitely want to always make sure is that don't pull their hair out of their head too much. Sorry about that. But you can see how I definitely have my angle in through there. Always paying attention to my angle and always making sure that I have the placement of the hair just right. Just giving her some pop. Just gonna go detail a couple pieces. So one thing with curly hair that I really enjoy is that nothing has to have perfect lines. It doesn't have to be totally even. It has to be balanced, and it has to look like it flows together. And I really love making sure that I'm able to achieve that when I'm working with a client. So last little bit. Just going through. Gave her some more lift in there. I love how it's just totally opened her up. All right, let's just give her a little more shape and set and show you a fun little technique. What I like to do with the curls is really go in there and bounce it back up after it's kind of dropped down for the day. And a fun little technique that I do is a pin curl technique, really, and use some pin curl clips. So I'm just going to blow first, get some of this hair off of her. So to get her started, what I used today was our Glamour Whip. And I'm just gonna get her a little bit more mist so that I can reset these curls. But I did start her today with Glamour Whip. Just doing a light mist. And I'm gonna put a little bit of our Naturally Full in there. So that when I go in there, I can reactivate this hair. All right. Just gonna take a couple sections, especially around her face and her top crown. It's kind of where that part, I just pulled it apart from cutting it, and sometimes during the day it just kind of flops, so we just wanna bring that back. So do a couple rolls. And just clip it. Just gonna go in there and make sure around her face has some. And then just the very top, I'm gonna do a couple. What's really great with this technique is that this is something that I show my clients in the salon and they're able to do at home. They went to work for the day, they came home, they're going back out at night. They could just take an extra 5 minutes and refluff and do this, let it sit, heat it up with the dryer versus having to go and start from scratch. One thing that I am making sure is when I'm doing this, I am following where these curls are grouping together because I don't want to separate them too much, and I want to pay attention to where they're falling and not form them in the opposite direction. Just always paying attention to where the hair is coming out of, the curly hair, what type of curl pattern it's taking on. Unless you're wanting to totally change that. I want it to stay continuous to the bottom, just refluff it for the moment. So just a couple more. What I'm gonna do is take my diffuser and just turn it on and let it heat everything back up a little bit so that it gets a little bit remolded. So just going in there, doing a couple more. Like I said, definitely want to make sure the ones around her face are really looking good. Just doing a couple rolls. And then I'm going to go in there and hit it with my diffuser right now. Actually, sorry, I forgot the one more right here. I also want to get the fringe a little softer again, so those ends that I cut aren't just sticking out. I'm going to use the spray, just kind of give it a little bit of moisture back in there. Use my pin curl clip to kind of comb it down and help it direct, so you guys can see how that's laying. See the different curls that I have through here. I want to hit some hairspray on it and then go in with my diffuser. Just get them dry. So just hitting it for gonna hit it for a few seconds. All right, once that's done, I'm going to drop them all out. Right here, but thank you. Just take them out. Always try to make sure that when you're taking, you find the end so you can really drop them back down. What I love is the Eliminator. That spray wax with the Goldin style sign is really fun to enhance, give them more texture to it. It really pops and gives that curly hair already has texture, but it really gets to show off her color. We'll hit it really nicely. So now that I have them in there, dropped them all down. Take a little sponge shine, work it in my hands really well. Kind of just glaze over, come up from the bottom, helping that texture get in there. Working my hands through just to give some definition. And then I love this. I'm going to just really go in there. You can see how it just blends right into that bottom. It's given some pop. What I'm loving is when I turn her around, you can really see how it's opened her face up. I'm going to take these out. Just going to put a little bit of the sponge shine in her fringe. Sorry. So really opened her up. gonna work these curls. You don't have to be scared to touch curly hair. As long as you have some sort of product on your hands that's being able to coat it, you're not gonna harm it. You just don't wanna go in there with straight hair, with dry hands, then you might cause some chaos. I'm just gonna kind of tweak a few little pieces that I'm seeing. Come around and just I see a couple little ends that I feel that can really come off and add one more little section right in here. Now that I'm seeing where it's drying, how it's falling, I feel like her hair could still use a little bit of lift by that front. Yeah, I like that. So that when it comes over, it'll have some more movement. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed your little bit of technique class today of just going in, giving that disconnected elevation in there, showing how on curly hair, just a really fun fringe can really open up those cheekbones, show off some great facial features, and give her a little bit more sass. Thank you. Hope to see you guys soon. Bye.